There's a time he went through a glass window like this, and he was never hurt.
My God.
And that thing shattered. And
Because he couldn't see it, or what? What made him go through it? Was it?
he was angry.
He was angry because
so he went like to hit the thing,
and he broke it.
Out there's no burglar proofing or anything to stop him, so it was just a sliding door, and he went through it out in the garden, but no single scratch.
No single scratch.
But the whole thing was shattered. So we had all that, the happiness, the jumping, and we never wanted to put him on permanent medication. So we'd have that medication, which would, to date, it's like, because when they change environment, because we can't leave him when we are going like to Kabale for Christmas, but I always carry that medication, because he gets to a point like he's temperamental, then you give him the medication
and it calms him down.
Okay. But yeah, when he gets aggressive, he's still a challenge. When he gets aggressive, he really does get aggressive, and we quickly have to give him that Risperidone
to calm him down. So it is not like it's a continuous medication.
No, we don't. Right now, we don't have continuous medication for him, because he was seeing Professor Lule at Nakasero, and he didn't want to put it on him because he thinks he can function without it unless those
triggers arise. Okay.
Yeah.
Did it flare up in as a teenager? That aggression.
Yes.
Yes. So how would it show up? What did you do? How did you manage him? Through school or at home? What was that like?
At home, they at school, they know how to. They have a small house by the gate, which would be like the askari's room. That's why they take them. And since he's not the head banging person, he'll go aggressive himself, and then he'll come down on his own.
So they give him a space to let it out.
To let it out by himself. There's nothing dangerous there to harm him.
What do you call it? Is it like a sensory space?
Yes, it's a sensory space. You create a sensory space.
He goes crazy, and then when they let him out, it's like nothing has happened.
He has had a moment.
Yes.
I think I also need that generally as a person. I need
then at home, there's a certain way we hold him. I don't want to call it candor, but there's a certain way. These guys, even the brothers, they know how to hold, even the father, they hold him.
Yes.
You hold him in pressure. Of course, he's fighting, he's sweating, he's fighting you. But it takes holding him down like for about 10 minutes. Then when he gets out of that,
he's calm.
He's calm.
Yeah, he's calm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then has he ever shown aggression towards you? I know parents who are worried about that. So let's speak to them. They're worried. My child is growing.
Yes.
He's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Will he be aggressive towards me? Has he ever been aggressive towards any family members? And
he'll come close to me. And I think he knows that maybe this is my mother. She's weak. But yes, he goes really aggressive towards his brother, and even the father. He's tried him. Yet normally, there are some naughty things he does, but he knows he'll do them in front of him, but not in front of his father. You see, like I can't take him for a walk, but because he'll be all over the place.
Okay.
But the father will tell him every Sunday they go for a 2.5-hour walk. Every Sunday morning, even now as we talk, probably they're finishing the walk now, and he'll even jog in Kololo. He jogs, but he knows he's to jog on the left-hand side of the road, and he's even pulling a dog along, and they're jogging together, and the father is walking behind them. But if he's with me and he keeps looking at me and going like to try me, he goes in the middle of the road. So I walked him once, I never did it again.
Yes.
So.
I think
They also know. They know
Mm.
kujoga and
I
all
get
that.
it, yes.
You know, and
They
They
can
know.
tell.
they can tell.
So it's important when you're parent to know this is now autism and this is just a normal child being
Yes.
naughty and cheeky. So I think
Yes.
parents need to
Naughty and
realize
cheeky.
that as well.
Yeah.
Not
But
everything
you can
is
tell
autism,
even by the way
autism,
he's
autism.
like,
Mm.
and when you point of view, he's like he's also
Yes.
trying you.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
They know as they
it's
grow older, of course, they get cleverer and all. They know when they're doing the wrong thing and when
Yes.
things that they shouldn't be doing. They know. They know. And another thing I want to get into,
Yes.
people have asked me, he's 28. What do you think about marriage and children?
Oh yes.
And usually my answer is that Sean I know. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't want them to get married to Sean.
Oh, wow.
That's
Because
that's deep.
another level of awareness.
yeah.
Very.
So if I bring this wife into my house. So now I'm taking care of Sean and his wife. Do I want that? No. No.
What
There are
about
many we have relatives and friends who are not married, who don't have children, and they're happy. Some it's by choice, some haven't found partners, but they're living and they
Yes,
eat,
they are.
they drink, they go to work,
Yes.
they live normal, they celebrate, they go to other people's weddings, but they are living. So why do I want to subject a child growing up, seeing Sean, who's also sort of childlike, and the kid is saying, this is dad. How many girls are willing, or the girls of the level I want? Because
Yes.
I'm not going to pick somebody from a street just because Sean should have a wife. So maybe I also want a girl of some social standing, but will she be able to
to
take
live with
Sean
that?
as a
Yes,
husband?
as a husband.
No, the answer is no.
You know, up until this point, it had never occurred to me to ask, but do we ever wonder if at that point does he have the legal capacity to enter into a marriage?
Exactly.
You tell us. You're the
Exactly.
lawyer. You're the lawyer.
That's why I
Yes.
said it.
Yes.
Like, you know, we sometimes as parents, we want everything for
Yeah.
your child.
Yes.
I will influence and get the lady for him to marry and
Yes.
stuff. But legally speaking, I don't think he would actually have the capacity.
Because all
To
he
be
can
a
do
husband, to be
No,
a
but
father.
all
Illegal,
he
yeah.
can do at that point is have sexual
Relations.
relations with that wife.
But
But
that's
a
it.
wife, you can't sit and have a chat. You can't.
The
So
quality
most of the
life.
time, you're doing things for him. So basically, now the wife has taken over my role.
I see.
You brought this
Yes.
So she's helping you.
young
Basically,
lady
she's not a wife. She's a
she's
helper.
not a wife.
Yeah,
she has
she's not a
come
wife.
To help.
To help you, to relieve you.
To relieve you. And most probably they're staying in your home. They're not staying, they're not independent because you don't know what that girl is going to do to your son when they're
Those are
living
real
in.
concerns.
Because at some point she'll also get frustrated.
Frustrated.
And now they're living in their own home. But do you think she really has that much love? And patience and all that? Maybe it's because you've picked her from the street. She wasn't doing anything anyway, and you're capable of taking care of her needs. But when they're together with your son, what will she do to your son?
So let me ask this. I know these are difficult questions we need to ask ourselves. Yes, I hear that side of you, but I'm also thinking about Sean, his needs. Remember, we were talking about
Yes.
masturbation and what. How have you prepared him for it? For living with the fact that he will not have a wife, or maybe he'll not have the opportunity to have sexual relationships, which needs he has. I'll be honest, my son, he even looks at girls. He asks me, when am I getting married?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
That's good.
Yes.
Feels like he's a content.
He tells
Yes.
his driver, there's this girl at school I like. I have a
that's
girlfriend, but don't
fantastic.
tell mom.
Oh,
You
that's
know?
fantastic.
Huh?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a very difficult conversation or difficult thing to think about, but it's something we need to think about.
But that's why it's called a spectrum. Now, for yours, that shouldn't be a problem. But yours is high functioning, Sean is not. So for some of us who have, those who are still really, the brain is still not there yet to take care of a wife, I don't know.
But how do you prepare
when I'm
him?
born, I don't know what will happen. In my particular case, there are options, because even if the brothers want, they can take him back to Australia and the government will take care of him.
Yes.
Or they take care of him. I haven't got to that, to be honest with you. I haven't got to think about what will happen to him. But that option is there. Even our friends were saying, why don't you, since Sean is now a man, why don't you bring him back? And the government takes. So what happens there, they put them in a home like this. They have a shared space. Each person has their room. But every morning, there's a bus or whatever that takes them, like say to McDonald's, whatever you're good at, like what we're talking about, the public library. And they work like half a day. And they pay them. They pay them. So what they pay them is what they use it, like in that community, to buy a TV in their room for their own use. They take them shopping,
with a few clothes and things like that.
So that's how they take care of them for the rest of their lives, like that kind of living. Most of those who are non-verbal and all that, that's how they take care of them.
I think Maki, you've given
but
us.
like Yona, we can always get
but I've seen a guy like
exactly.
He's communicating over that part.
I think he may be that.
Thank God for that, that he can even say that.
I think Maggie, you've given us a reality check. And you've actually explained just how much it's subjective. We cannot escape the work of knowing our children.
Right.
Absolutely.
We cannot escape the work of knowing our children and knowing what they are capable of, what they can handle. And also, which I deeply, deeply appreciate, is that awareness that if your child is not able to, is not at that level of the spectrum where they can have that independent thought and that consideration and all those things that are necessary, not just in a marriage, but also in relationships and in independent living,
right,
then you have to prepare for the possibility of being their lifelong carer. And I like the attitude that you have with it, because it feels like, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but it feels like you're like, okay, so every day that comes, we move. Like, we just take it every day, one day at a time.
I don't go deep. I don't go, and I think that's what has made me manage. I know people get depressed over this whole thing, but I think I embraced it early, that this is a child God has given us, and God will give you something that you're capable of managing. And I've lived my life fairly, except for the 5 years, of course, when I was there struggling with the 3 kids. But when I got back, I even had a shop, I had a business, and life has continued. And I have to thank Patty Square for taking care of her kids. She's been so good. She's been, because some people will get to a point and say, this is a man, he shouldn't be at this school, what is he doing here? You take him and see what you can do with him. But it's not a school as such. They teach them life skills. Like they bake, can bake. They do soap, they do liquid soap. They do this bathroom mats. They teach them how to wash utensils and store away. In fact, he does everything waits for him. By the way, I did say that. Even when he comes home, when I've gone shopping for groceries, and he comes from school, and you've, by any mistake, because he knows where everybody is kept and where everything is kept, and he knows the shopping day. So if by any chance you put away maybe the soap and put it where it's supposed to, he'll go and look for the bag you brought it in, put it back, probably even take it back to the car and take it back to make sure that next time Don't, this is not your
Yeah.
duty.
Yes.
So you're supposed to get the bags
Respect
out
the
of the car,
boundaries.
put them somewhere in the store,
And leave the
and he
rest to
comes,
him.
yes, he
Wow.
puts his bag down from school and stores everything where
Wow.
it should be. So those are his chores that he does, weekly chores. He gets his clothes, he does Friday after school because it's half day. That's when they wash his clothes. He'll get all his clothes in the bag and goes and takes them to where they're supposed to be washed. So we've been happy and lucky with such things that we don't really worry too much of the future.
Of the
and,
future,
say that
yes.
whatever comes. We should actually maybe start teaching him farming. We have some land in Kachiri, 15 acres maybe.
And he's
That's
such
the
a good
next.
caretaker.
Yeah.
That's the next
yeah.
step.
And that would
Yeah.
actually
Such a
occupy
good-
That
him.
would occupy him.
Yes, because you
Once
said he
he's
can't
done with school,
school.
we could teach him
Set
how
up
to farm.
something
He's
for
so
him
skilled,
there.
But we're not
Yes.
thinking about
And so
this marriage.
responsible.
When the marriage comes, if he's capable of having a wife, I don't know. He
Yeah,
might.
you never know.
You never know.
Yeah,
you never
true.
know.
So what is he doing in school? And has he been at that same school?
That's it. Oh, for donkey years, yeah, he's been at the same school.
Please mention the
And they
school.
call them a center. It's a Pearl of Africa Special Needs Centers.
Center.
They are not actually school centers.
Centers, yes.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. There's a boarding part in where Prayer Mountain is.
Seguku.
Seguku.
Yes.
But then close to Kanyanya, close to Bahai Temple.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where
Chikaya.
the day school is. And yeah,
So that's where he
actually
goes, eh?
looking for more students. Yes, from 9 till 4. Monday to
And they
Friday.
take every age range?
from 4.
4 years?
From 4
Upwards.
years
All the way
yeah.
to.
And they have programs for them?
Programs, different programs,
yeah.
different classes.
Yes.
And it's not just autism, by
Yes.
the way.
Uh-huh.
Different
Special
needs.
Yes.
special needs.
Yes.
Down
Okay.
syndrome and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
But the kids have to be like physically. They
Okay.
have to
Able.
Mobile.
Mobile. They
Yes.
have to be mobile.
Yes.
Yeah, they have good programs there. So it's not like a school; it's more of a center.
So it's like a skilling.
A
yes,
skilling center.
center.
Friday they have somebody who comes in, teaches them music,
Mm-hmm.
different. But he loves dancing, just like the mother. He's more of a dancer than a singer. He enjoys it, and yeah.
He's also a very
that's
serious
good, huh?
person, eh? He's
Yes.
so serious about his work,
Yes.
about
He
his
is.
routine.
He
It's
is.
really wonderful to hear
Yeah.
all of
It
this.
is. And yeah, we even tried, we've done everything. We even tried some therapy, which was quite costly. There's a lady who came from the US. We were working on like five students, including Judith. Judith's son. And I was that's why she calls me doctor. I was the one doing that therapy. It involved electrodes and all that. But later we realized that anything can happen to these kids. I'm not a medical doctor. And
So it was like
and
electrotherapy or
yes,
something.
electrotherapy, whereby
Oh
I
my
used
gosh.
to put electrodes on these kids' heads 3 times a week. And I would report to her, and that was the email time. It wasn't even WhatsApp time, email time. And then she would get back to me with the reports because she would have the master, whatever, on her side in the US. And she said, change this one to this color, this strength, and what. But we realized that I might get into trouble even because
For sure.
for sure. And the improvement was very, very
Minimal.
slight, very minimal. Very minimal. In fact, one of the kids who had epilepsy, it even made him worse.
Regress.
So they withdrew earlier from the therapy. And then we stopped it.
I think I've come to learn over time. As a parent, you'll try out all
Yeah.
sorts
All
of
sorts.
things,
Oh yeah.
but it is just better for you to just do things naturally,
Naturally.
and you keep monitoring the child
That's why
and
we
see what.
stay away from the drugs
Yes.
as much as possible.
Yes.
But when you get normal supplements,
Yes.
that's
Those
okay.
are good.
That's
Yes,
okay.
yeah, that's okay.
Especially if the kid is having trouble sleeping. Yeah, at times we have trouble sleeping. That's when we give him. But mostly because he's very active during the day, he tends to sleep well.
Okay.
Like Claire said, she said she's just a mother, but you can see the experience that she's had to share with us. I also want to point out that Maggie is one of the parents I met when I had just learnt of my son having autism. When I heard her mention her child was not verbal, and she was speaking about it so normally, and tears just started rolling down. This is the Maggie. And Maggie walked the journey with me. She really supported me together with the other parents. And thank you so much, Maggie, for all you've done. And please do not stop advocating. You had taken a step back. We need you in this thing to share with
the forum
people out there.
active, but this kind of things I had taken a back step and left it for you young ones. But from time to time,
you will.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
So
autism is.
It's in your heart.
It is.
Yes. So thank you so much, Maggie, for being with us, sharing with us. And thank you, viewers. I hope this has been resourceful for you, just like it has for all of us, I believe.
Yes.
So thank you. Until next time.